Symbiotic Love is the first entry in the Ling Hua Yuri series of visual novels centered around an all-girls private school in southern China. Although Melancholy Love is the second game in the series, it was the first entry to release in the West and therefore the first one that I played. Sadly, Symbiotic Love was a bit of a letdown in comparison. Symbiotic Love opens in media res with Zihai Hua discovering her girlfriend Jihai Sua apparent suicide. The scene sets a dark and dramatic tone as we wind back to the beginning of the school year, and the reader's knowledge of the apparently inevitable tragedy casts a shadow over the protagonist's first meeting. It seems like a fated reunion as Jihai Sua recognizes transfer unit Zihai Hua as someone she knew as a child, but Zihai Hua has no memory of this past encounter and she tries to avoid making friends at all so they won't be targeted by her controlling and abusive mother. Zihai Hua's resolve doesn't last long though, nor does the tension set up in the opening scene. The middle of the story is made up of lighthearted, meandering scenes with their friends, the serious Qing Wei and airheaded Jian Yi. They're enjoyable enough if you like cute slice-of-life friendship stories, but they go on for so long without any sense of direction that it almost starts to feel like an entirely different game. There's not much of a sense of romance either until much later in the story when the students are preparing for the performance of Romeo and Juliet, an obvious but also ironic metaphor for the protagonist's doomed love. Even then, there's a huge time skip between the love confession and final act. After that, we get a sense of the characters' internal conflict, dealing with themes of Zihai Sua's jealousy and Jihai Sua's difficulty accepting her own attraction to women. Still, we don't really get a chance to see their romantic relationship develop. The pacing problems in Symbiotic Love felt especially frustrating because I could see an obvious fix. Even after the opening scene, the story occasionally flashes forward to Zihai Hua's trying to make sense of Jihai Sua's death. Spreading these scenes more evenly throughout the game instead of weighting them towards the end would create more breaks between the slice of life scenes to keep them from getting boring. Further, it would help draw clearer parallels between the characters and situations and reveal information more gradually throughout the story to naturally build the tension so the ending wouldn't feel so rushed. One of the scenes late in the game stands out as stylistic, where Zihai Sua's memories of the past and experience of the present start to blur, and conversations begin to overlap. It's an intense, compelling moment with an intriguing presentation, but it also emphasizes how the time jumps earlier in the game weren't used to their fullest potential. The game engine also contributes to pacing problems. It's the same as Melancholy Love with all the technical issues, the most frustrating of which is the inevitable slow skip speed. There are 5 different endings, but the story is linear until the last handful of lines, and the effect of each choice is unclear. I highly recommend playing Symbiotic Love with a walkthrough to optimize your saves and minimizing skipping time. It's also hard not to draw comparisons to Melancholy Love regarding Symbiotic Love's presentation. The soundtrack features the same melancholy piano-based tracks, and while they generally fit the mood, a couple more lighthearted tracks for the slice of life scenes would have been more apt. The music probably wouldn't have felt so repetitive though, if I hadn't already been familiar with it. The user interface is the same, along with many of the backgrounds. It's the same school, so fair enough. The character sprite art is more limited, with more alternate outfits but no pose variations, although the use of close-ups and side images and full-body sprites lends to the variety of art direction. On the positive side though, playing Melancholy Love first improved my impressions of the ending of Symbiotic Love since I knew the hanging threads get to at least somewhat resolved later in the series. Additionally, the Chinese setting and full Mandarin voice acting make the series stand out among similar visual novels available in English. If you enjoy Melancholy Love, Symbiotic Love is worth playing just to experience the backstory that its predecessor only hints at. As its own story though, Symbiotic Love plants the seeds of a romantic tragedy with an intriguing dramatic twist, but it's ultimately dragged down by its slow pace and abrupt, unsatisfying endings. Noisy Pixel is giving Symbiotic Love a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.